Hi, welcome back. Carrying on with Superfudge. It's Peter's first day of school, and it's a new school, and he's just been called to the principal's office. He's a bit worried. He's not sure why he's been called. We're just about to find out why. Okay. So Mr. Green is the principal. I found Mr. Green's office. I'm Peter Hatcher, I told his secretary. Oh, go right in, she said. He's expecting you. You wanted to meet me? I said to Mr. Green. I mean, see me? Oh, hello, Peter. Mr. Green looks something like my uncle. But my uncle is clean-shaven and Mr. Green had a moustache. Now that my father is growing a beard, I'm more aware of these things. We're having a bit of a problem with your brother, Mr. Green said. Oh, so that was it. I should have known. We've tried to get your mom or dad on the phone, but there's no answer, so we're hoping you'd be able to help us. What did he do this time? I said. Well, a number of things, Mr. Green said. Let's come down to the kindergarten. I can show you. We walked down the hall together. All the kindergarten babies were busy. I mean, not really babies. They're like 4 years old. Or nearly 4, 3, 4, like nursery. All the kindergarten babies were busy. Some were building with blocks, others were painting. A group was playing house in the corner. It was just the way I remembered kindergarten. But I didn't see Fudge anywhere. Oh, Mr. Green, Miss Handlebright said, limping over to us. I'm so glad you're here. I can't do a thing with him. He refuses to come down. I looked up. Fudge was perched on top of the cabinets that were on top of the lockers. He was stretched out, lying across the top, just inches from the ceiling. Hi, Peter, he called, waving. What are you doing up there? I said. Resting. Come down. No, I don't like this school. I quit. You can't quit, Mr. Green said. Why not? Fudge asked. Because going to school is your job, Mr. Green said. Otherwise, what will you be when you grow up? A bird, Fudge told him. Mr. Green laughed. Creative, isn't he? I wouldn't necessarily call it that, Miss Handlebright said. Well, why did he climb up there in the first place? I asked. Well, Miss Handlebright said, that is a long story. Because she's mean, Fudge called. M-E-A-N, mean. Now, Mr. Green, Miss Handlebright said, you've known me for a long time. And I ask you, have I ever been mean to a child? Knowingly, consciously, intentionally mean? Especially on the first day of school. She wouldn't call me Fudge, Fudge said. That's why I had to kick her. He kicked you? I asked Mrs. Handlebright. She held up her skirt and showed her bruised shin. And I don't mind telling you, she said, that I was in great pain. I almost passed out right in front of the other children. Is that when he climbed to the top of the cabinets? I asked. That is correct. Because she won't call me Fudge, Fudge said again. It's not a proper name, Miss Handlebright said. And it's not as if he hasn't got a proper name. He has. Farley Drexel Hatcher. I told him I'd call him Farley, or I'd call him Drexel, or I would call him FD. But she wouldn't call me Fudge. All the kids turned around then. Suddenly the room was very quiet. That's right, Mrs. Handlebright said. Fudge is a good name for candy. It's not a good name for a boy. I told you I'm a bird, Fudge shouted. There is something definitely wrong with that child, Mrs. Handlebright said. There's nothing wrong with him, I said. My mother calls him Fudge. My father calls him Fudge. My grandmother calls him Fudge. His friends call him Fudge. My friends call him Fudge. I call him Fudge. He calls himself Fudge. Yeah, we get the picture, Mr. Green said. I can't imagine a parent actually deciding to call their child Fudge, said Mrs. Handlebright. Oh, you don't know my parents, I told her. Well, that's true, but I think what we have here is a basic personality conflict, Mr. Green said. So I suggest that we transfer Fudge to Miss Ziff's kindergarten class. Splendid idea, Miss Handlebright said. Sooner the better. You can come down now, I told Fudge. You're going to the other kindergarten? Will the teacher call me Fudge? He asked. As long as you want her to, Mr. Green said. And will she let me use the round blocks? Mr. Green looked at Mrs. Heidelbrandt. I never let them use round blocks on the first day. It's one of my rules. But you can't build anything good without the round blocks, Fudge said. We'll ask Miss Ziff, Mr. Green told Fudge. But we do have rules here, and you will have to obey them. As long as I can use the round blocks, Fudge said. Mr. Green loosened his shirt collar and wiped his forehead with a handkerchief. Hurry up, Fudge, I said. I'm missing important things upstairs. Like what? Oh, never mind, just get down. Fudge climbed down to the shelves above the lockers, and Mr. Green reached up and lifted him the rest of the way down. Goodbye, Folly Drexel, Mrs. Handlebrandt said. Goodbye, Ratface, Fudge said to her. I gave him an elbow and whispered, You can't go around calling teachers Ratface. Not even if they have one, he asked. Not even then, I said. Mr. Green and I took Fudge next door to Miss Ziff's kindergarten. She was reading Arthur the Anteater to the kids. I could tell Fudge was impressed. I know that story, he said. Arthur doesn't like to eat red ants. Mr. Green handed Miss Ziff Fudge's registration card. His name's Farley Drexel, Mr. Green said, but everybody calls him Fudge. Miss Ziff smiled at Fudge. And I'll bet you're as sweet as your name, she agreed. I am, Fudge agreed. Just ask Mrs. Heidelbrandt, I said to myself. My brother's school career had begun. Okay, we're on chapter 7 now. It's called A Very Cultured Bird. Kind of bird, I wonder. Every day, Fudge brought home paintings from his kindergarten class. Mom hung them on the wall in the kitchen. One night she said, Fudgy, you're doing so well in school. I'm going to get you a special treat. What would you like? A bird, Fudge said, as if he'd been thinking about it for years. A bird? Mom repeated. Yes, my very own bird. A bird, Dad said, scratching his new beard. I was thinking more like a yo-yo, Mom said. I have a yo-yo, Fudge told her, but I don't have a bird. Well, I don't see why we can't get Fudge a bird, Dad said. It might be nice for him to have his own pet. But Warren, Mom said, you really think he's ready for his own pet? Yes, Dad said, I do. Well, Mom said, and I could see her thinking it over. If it's all right with Daddy, then I guess it's all right with me. And he can sleep in my own room, right? Fudge asked. Yes, Dad said. On my bed? No, Dad said. Birds sleep in cages, Fudge, not beds. But I would be very careful, Fudge said. I'll keep him under the covers with me. Birds can't sleep in beds, Mom said. Why not? Fudge asked. Because they like to sleep standing up, Mom said. They do? Fudge asked. Yeah. I think I'll try that tonight, Fudge said. No, people lie down to go to sleep, Dad explained. Birds stand up. That's just one difference between people and birds. Another is that birds can fly, right? Fudge asked. That's right, Dad said. Well, someday I might be able to fly, just like a bird. Don't count on it, I said. But he wasn't listening. He was dancing around Tootsie's high chair singing, my very own bird, bird, bird. Dabba, Tootsie said, tossing her rattle to the floor. That's her latest game. She throws down her toys and screams until one of us picks them up for her. As soon as she's got them back, She throws them down again. Some game. Also, she's teething, so her gums are sore, so she screams a lot. She has this plastic teething ring that we keep in the freezer for her. She likes to bite on it. The cold numbs her gums. The truth is, though, she'll bite anything she can get in her mouth, including her own toes. I keep telling my mom it's not a good idea to let Tootsie grow up with her feet in her mouth, but Mom says it's just a phase and that she'll get over it. She even took out the family album to show me a picture of myself when I was about Tootsie's age, and I had my toes in my mouth too. I've asked Mom to get rid of that picture, along with the one of me naked holding a broom. If that one ever got out, I'd never hear the end of it. Fudge asked Mum if he could bring Tootsie to school for show and tell. He wanted to repeat his lecture on how babies are made for his kindergarten class. Mum phoned Miss Ziff, who thought it was a wonderful idea. But before they went ahead with it, Miss Ziff had to check it out with Mr. Green. Mr. Green said, absolutely not. So that was the end of that. Fudge was disappointed, but Mum and Dad convinced him that once he got his bird, he'd have something even more exciting for show and tell. Grandma came to visit for a few days. I'm getting a bird, Fudge told her. What kind of bird are you going to get? Grandma asked. Oh, I don't know. What kind of bird am I going to get? He asked the rest of us. We all spoke at once. A canary, Mum said. A parakeet, Dad said. A mynah bird, I said. Fudge looked confused. Grandma said, I see you haven't decided yet. Mynah birds can talk, I said. A talking bird, Fudge asked. Yeah, you can teach a mynah bird to say anything, I added. Anything? Fudge asked. I could tell he was thinking. Well, almost anything, I told him. A talking bird, Fudge said, smiling. Fudgy's going to get a talking bird. Hey, no, wait a minute, Dad said. We haven't decided on what kind of bird we're getting. I was thinking in terms of a nice blue parakeet. You can train a parakeet to fly around the room, land on your stick or your shoulder. And I was thinking in terms of a pretty yellow canary, Mom said. Canaries can sing. They can make everybody feel happy. That's nice, Fudge said. Mommy can get a canary, Daddy can get a parakeet, and Fudgy can get his mynah bird. We're only getting one bird, Mom told him. Oh, Fudge said, then I guess Mommy won't be getting her canary, and Daddy won't be getting his parakeet, because Fudgy's getting a mynah bird. Peter says they can talk, and Peter knows everything. Mom and Dad looked at me. Well, how was I supposed to know you wanted a canary? I asked Mom. You wanted a parakeet, I asked Dad. You never mentioned it before. It would be very educational for Fudgy to have a mynah bird, Grandma said. If I teach him to talk, he might be able to teach me to fly, Fudge said, flapping his arms. Tootsie hiccuped, then started crying. Who wants some home-baked cookies? Grandma asked, as she lifted Tootsie out of her high chair and patted her on the back. Grandma is very good at changing the subject. The next afternoon, when I got home from school, the car was gone and the house was quiet. I went upstairs and I was on my way to my room when I heard something funny coming from Tootsie's room. Her door was open just a crack and I peeked in. And there was Grandma, barefooted, dancing in circles, with Tootsie in her arms, and she was singing, toot, toot, Tootsie goodbye, toot, toot, Tootsie don't cry, the choo-choo train that takes me, la-da-dee-dum-dee-da-da, kiss me, Tootsie, and then, hi, Grandma, I said, opening the door all the way. Oh, Peter, she stopped, and her face turned red. What are you doing? I asked. Dancing, she said. Tootsie likes to dance, you know. No, I didn't know. Tootsie grabbed a handful of Grandma's hair and screeched with delight. What was that song you were singing? I asked. Oh, toot, toot, Tootsie goodbye, Grandma said. What, you mean there really is such a song? You weren't making it up? Certainly not. It was very popular back in, I can't remember the year, but it was very popular. Tootsie bounced up and down in Grandma's arms, wanting more. Grandma passed her to me. Here, you try it now. Whoa, me? I said, you want me to dance with Tootsie? Why not? Grandma, I'm in 6th grade. I don't go around dancing with babies in my arms. Why not? Well, because... Oh, come on, Grandma said. I'll sing, you dance. And she began her song again. Toot, toot, Tootsie goodbye. Toot, toot, Tootsie don't cry. I twirled around and around with Tootsie in my arms. And Grandma was right. She loved it. She screamed and laughed and threw her head back. Oh, I'm over time. Gotta go. More tomorrow.